in my case, I was lost, whatever, man, and I didn't know what I was doing. Nobody taught me how, and I didn't get sucked back into that self pity BS. Like we talked about earlier, whatever. It's like, yeah, okay, I was living. I'm not giving myself a pass on that one. Because life is full of unknowns, whatever, and I didn't never been down that road or whatever. But now I know I was wrong in that aspect of my part of my life, whatever, because I was going through some things, and I never give myself a pass for that. I was just like, man, I was okay. I'll look at that, man, and then the amends, in the recovery program. I'm an addict, so I go to NA meetings, but also I'm a native. So I do ceremonies, like we were talking about earlier. Joel and I just helped this brother do a funeral or whatever, man, and you learn in that way as well, and forgiveness. From what I know, that's what we're about, our people and our history, it's okay, because I know deep down inside, no matter how many times I've turned my back on my creator, he's always there to pick me up and brush me off and say, we're moving forward, my boy. I forgive you. I still love you. And that's a thing, and that's really a thing, and that's how I live, and it's easy to admit when I'm wrong these days. I don't got no problem, doing that, and it's you have to, you know,
Inventory.
yeah, to be
Daily
consistent. Yeah,
inventory.
and
Yeah.
consistency is
Hmm.
was the word I was looking for. You got to be consistent with that. You can't apologize for these, but not that. Because it's not. You got to be consistent with your apologies. And it's not even always about apologies. You got to be consistent with your words, and the people are looking up to you, and because we do a lot of work with we go to a lot of meetings with the halfway house and the treatment center around the center, man, and these guys are looking to see how it's done, and so you got to show up every day, and it don't get tiring, man. It doesn't. Being an addict, I was wore out all the time. But this side of life it's rewarding more than anything, man.
So I do have a question about, you said that Kenny and Joel, you guys were helping with the funeral. While you guys were using, did you lose like your sense of wanting to be within the culture, or did that change in any way?
Oh, absolutely. First off, I really didn't know how, to even ask to be, to that. And it's not really, in that aspect, from what I know, you can't ask. I mean, you could, but the brother that was doing it, he asked us, and that's an honor or whatever. But yeah, to answer your question, I was, like, man, I kind of was away for so long because I didn't want to pollute that goodness that's there, that with the stuff that I was going through, and, the poison that I was, given to pretty much not just my people, but to everybody. Anybody who had a couple bucks, man, I got you. I didn't want to bring that, And my first time back at a powwow, I was working at the halfway house, and I took the brothers and sisters to Hinckley. And being away for so long, when the grand entry started, man, I got so emotional. I had to kind of back off a little bit, and one of the brothers that was in the place, he kind of felt the same way. And so, we kind of talked a little bit, and I said, brother, it's okay, man. I said, I understand. I said, me too. And he looked up at me and he said, you for real? I said, for real, brother. I'm not lying. I said, I don't tell you guys that you guys want to hear. I don't do that. I said, I think you know me well enough to not. He said, oh, no, brother. He goes, I get you, whatever. And then, I kind of just let him go about his way, because he had to think about whatever he had to think about. And I was like, man, it was just the pride, and of our people and the celebration, all of us coming together from all over wherever, the world, the country or whatever, to be with one another, man. And that's the love, So I got pretty emotional my first time back. And and that's what just kept me coming back. Not just to them. We go to a lot. We go if
Yeah.
it's in we're always there. Joel's always there. I'm always there, and there's a few of us that are always there. But just that, man, you can feel that what's there. The old ones, like that, the way I say.
It's like
That-
kind of like a sense of belonging. You feel
Absolutely,
connected. To
absolutely,
everyone at the powwow.
absolutely, yeah, definitely, yeah. That's it.
That's what I felt like for many years. I'd go to a powwow, go to a ceremony, anything. It's like if I wasn't in my right state of mind, somebody was watching me and I could feel that, and that karma was going to come back and bite me for polluting, like what Kenny said, for polluting that circle. Them circles are meant for healing and stuff like that. So I felt wrong, and I knew I was wrong. So it's like I stayed back, and I stayed away from it. And because it's like I knew it was wrong to be there like that. But, like part of me would be like, well, I'm just going to get in there and sing a song, and then I'm going to leave. And, and it was like, I was very confused. But today I know that was wrong. And someday I might have to answer for that, someday, but I'm trying to make every motive to make that right.
Yeah.
That's my intention, is to make that right, like to be in the circle in the best health that I can possibly be, to try to pass the, like what I learned in the circle, what I learned of the language, what I learned of song, what I learned of dance, like I want to be one of those people that can share that openly with people that want to know,
Yeah.
just like I was talking about earlier about, like my partner's son, like that makes me feel good that he's singing them songs that I sent him, like that makes me feel good, and I know I'm doing the right thing, creators watching us, and that's my way of making amends to the circle. It's like, like even our sister Allie, singing on the hand drum, she always sends me her songs, and I love that. I love that. My woman, she's a dancer. She's a awesome dancer. It's like,
Yeah, I seen her over at the Fond du Lac powwow.
Yeah.
yep. And I tell her, like the way she dances is without no worry about who's watching her, who's, like I was like, you feel the music, and I was like, and that's beautiful, like when you see people like that, just even Ojawashko Gijig.
Oshawashko Giza.
Yeah, like that little baby dancing, like
and drumming and stuff like that. And that's my big, that's what I'm gonna do right now. It's like I asked this brother to help me put a regalia together, whatever, man, and that's how this connection works. The celebrations that we all come together, and he was just like, yeah, we're talking about it, but I'm not really clear on what you're asking me. And I was like, well, can you put me together regalia? And he's like, yeah. It was okay. Now we're getting somewhere. And I said, I want to know the aspects of it, because I was out there using for all these years, and then I was afraid, of what people might think, And he said, well, here's the thing, brother. He said, we don't judge. When we come to these things, he said, whether you're a beginner or you're an old timer or whatever, man, he said, you're there to dance. And you dance your style. He said, that's why they say that. So my nephew, like Joel just said, and my nieces dance, and two of my girls dance, and my sweetie dances, my sister Sonny dances, and I want to be able to dance with them. When
Yeah.
Joel's out there singing, I want to be out there dancing. And I'm kind of an older guy, but I still got it.
oh yeah,
Got
oh
it.
yeah.
Some things you just don't lose.
There
And
you go.
whatever it is I have, man, I give thanks for it. And it's about the heart, and where that's at. you know, and mine's in a good place, you know, and the heart and the mind, you know, they are both in a solid place. You know, I'm okay with who I am and where I'm at in life. You know, I don't struggle with anything these days or too much, whatever. You know, I'm on pretty solid ground, man. You know, because you know I made my life the way it is, and it's a pretty. I'm happy.
What?
Let's talk about Kenny's upcoming things that are going on. The 23rd, right? You go check into.
Oh yeah,
Oh
been
yeah,
telling
the
us
Five
about-
Skies thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm excited about that. You know, I don't really know what's gonna happen. So I'm supposed they're just gonna probably prepare me for the upcoming training session or whatever. You know, I think I'm ready for it because you know I've had pretty decent jobs in the past, but I was never you know ready because of the addiction and you know the prison stuff and the jail stays and all that was always getting away. So you know now that I'm in a pretty good place, I think it's about time.
Yeah.
You know, like I said, you know my foundation is solid. You know, and so you know bring it. You know, it's all I can. You know, it's all I can say is bring it. You know, I'm looking forward to it. You know, it's a. And I'm always telling brothers and sisters, you know, it's time to level up now again, you know, and it's all about that, you know. One of the sisters was just posted something, and it's like she said, you know, it's kind of struggling right now. Things are tough, whatever, man, you know. And I said, man, it's time to level up, sister, man. They're just seeing if you're ready for the next level, so show them.
Yep.
Yeah, we've had Nick and Irie on the show a few times, and just listening to all the stories of the people that they helped, and they're just awesome.
You're in
people.
good hands.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Exactly what I said.
You know, and that's, you know, I think I'm supposed to be here, you know, here today with you guys in the Five Skies thing, you know, because that's how that works, man. Creator puts you where you're supposed to be, you know, and what you do is on you, you know. So I firmly believe, you know, I'm excited, you know, and I think I'm pretty sure I'm ready for it, whatever, you know, and whatever comes my way, you know, it's only going to be good. And
So if you're pushing towards a trade, what trade do you want to get into?
you know, I don't even know. You know, I don't know. You know, I went to school for floor cover. I'm a certified floor cover. You know, but I don't know. You know, whatever they have to offer, I guess. You know, I'm you know, I like. I've did many things in my life. You know, and I haven't retired from any of them. You know, so you know, so I do what I like to do. You know, that way I don't mind getting up and going to work every day. If I have to stay a little bit later, I love my job, and that's what it is to me. You know, you have to like what you do, and you know I learned that a long time ago. You know, because if you hate your job, it's you're gonna say, and your feet haven't even touched the ground yet.
Yep.
So whatever it is, you know, I'll just have to see what's out there. You know what I mean?
Yeah, there's so many options that you can choose from, and if you don't like it, move on to the next thing. Try that
Absolutely.
out, and
Choices, absolutely. You know,
Yeah.
there's always choices. You know, and you know, because I went to school for many years to be a social worker because of the way I was brought up in the foster care system. You know, I kind of wanted to help the kids and stuff like that. And you know, I went to school for so many years for that, and we did an extraction one time. You know, when we're getting about to be into the field and whatever, man. And you know, when we took away that little boy and that girl from their mom, that was the hardest thing I've ever really did in my life. What I saw, because of the way I grew up, and I just took my name tag off and I threw it down on the ground,
Yeah.
and I said, "Hey, you know, the instructor was a solid lady, man. She was a solid person." And there was quite a few of us when that class started. She said, "Most of you guys ain't gonna be here when this is done."
Holy.
Yeah, and she said, once you realize what you have to do as a social worker, man, you got to be built for this,
It's tough, yeah.
and you
Social
have
work
to,
is-
yeah, absolutely, and it's always the kids, you know, the kids are always the victims, because deep down inside, you know, the person that gives birth, you know, be it an addict or an alcoholic or whatever it is, you know, they might have some love for that child that they bring into the world. But the kid, that's all they know is this person that brought them in, so that nurtures them or whatever. And then when they don't have them, you know, that like I said, that sets off that chain of events of that, you know.
Yeah, my mom was a social worker, or kind of she did social work for a little bit, and she would always say like, God, it just takes a piece out of you every day.
Every day, absolutely. Because my foster mom was guidance counselor in Phillips Junior High, and back in that day, that was like one of the roughest schools in Minneapolis. And that's what she would say, you know, like, man, these kids that come to school that are still wearing the same clothes that they had on Friday or whatever.
Yeah.
You know, it's Thursday today. And you know, you could just see and, you know, the toll it took on them or whatever, you know. And I thought that's what I wanted to be, is to help the kids. You know, but it's like, man, when I saw that, I said, F you, lady, and it just took off.
It's hard. It's got to be one of the hardest jobs out there.
Yeah.
Social work.
That's rehabilitating families wouldn't be a bad one, you know, but it's like, I mean, you probably got to go through some things
yeah,
to get
for
to
sure,
that,
man.
you know, like to get to that point.
And what's crazy is, like, man, I'm qualified for many things, you know, without being in school, because I tell people, you know, like back, like I always point outside, that was my school out there, man.
Yep.
You know, sometimes it was the school of hard knocks, but I've learned a lot just living life out there, man. You know, and I thought about, you know, having a degree of in something one of these days, whatever, because, you know, can't have all this knowledge and not have something hanging on the wall that says you're good at that, whatever, you know.
Yeah, I get that. Like I used to mess around about that. You know, my street credit being, you know, $850.
Yeah, absolutely,
You
man.
know, my credit on paper about $500.
Yeah, can I get that? Can I get that?
know,
So I can frame that shit. Yeah.
That ain't gonna get me a new car.
That should be
or the house.
philosophy or something, man. But yeah, the Five Sky things, man. I'm just blessed to have a shot at that, you know. And you know, and you know, I'll be honest, you know, the money is enticing. You know, it is. But also, you know, I have a family to take care of, you know, and Joel and I kind of discussed what, you know, the pension and stuff like that, and just, you know, the way our people are coming up these days. You know, the native-owned business and companies and people that are given a chance, you know, whether it's recovery or not, you know, and to me, it is about recovery because, you know, I'm worthy of this opportunity, you know, and I'm ready, and you know, I don't think I'll make anybody regret their decision, you know, and choosing me for anything these days, you know. You know, I used to tell the guys that, you know, I used to go to prison a lot back in the day, you know, and you know, this is my journey, and that was where I had to be at that time or whatever, you know, for whatever reason. I would say to these people that I had to deal with that I didn't even, you know, that would just read whatever was in black and white. I've never talked to you a day in my life or a minute, but you have this judgment of me that this is the way I am. So you believe what is written down. I said, all I'm asking for is a shot, man. And people like me will never get a shot as long as people like you are in charge of whatever you're in charge of. You know, so get to know the individual.
Well, I think my last question I have for you both is, you know, you guys have put in so much work into your recovery and helping others. And do you guys have any advice for somebody who's maybe just starting out on their road to recovery or is not sure, like, what to do?
Where to go, who to talk to.
Well, believe in yourself first and foremost, man. It can be done, you know. Get out of your own way, ask questions, reach out. Just do it.
Meetings, yeah.
People are always going to, you know, judge and hate and gossip and not like you for whatever reason, man, but just don't let them change who you are. And it's a lot easier when people that can vocalize and verbalize, I think they got a little bit better, but people that have a hard time vocalizing what they feel or or verbalizing what the things that they have to say, because they're so used to not being validated or heard or just afraid, afraid to say what's on their mind. Speak up, man. You'll be heard.
Yep.
You'll be heard, man.
Don't be scared of yourself.
Absolutely not.
Like, put value, worth, belief in yourself.
Yeah.
That's the biggest one is, like valuing yourself, self-talk. That's probably one of the hugest ones, man. Like, know you're worthy of great things. Know you're more worthy than them, like them drugs that you abused, that alcohol that you drink, that weed you smoked, them prescriptions you done. You're worth way more than all of that. And we are worth a great life, and it don't happen overnight. It doesn't. You got to work hard every day. Just make them decisions. Like I said, every minute, every hour, every day. It's like every day is, like some are going to be tougher than the others, but the days will get easier. They really will, and you're going to learn, like about new people, new ways. I think my hardest thing was listening, listening to other addicts talk, without, feeling like they were better than me or feeling like I was better than anyone, and just adding that value into your own self, like when you can sit here and talk to somebody 10 years in recovery and they talk exactly the same way you do. It's like, that's fulfilling, so it's like, reaching out, like Kenny said, reaching out to the right people that you can connect with, and financial was a kind of a burden in my early recovery.
Not so much in mine because like I was in a halfway house and I went out and got my own job, because I'm the go-getter. Where I was at, I was in this halfway house and the director, who's a cool dude, solid guy, Rich from Mille Lacs Lake halfway house, man. He's my guy. But he's like, well, we're going to sign you up for these programs and stuff like that, man. And, we got to wait for him to get back. Band members are preferred. And I was like, well, I smoke cigarettes. Are you going to buy my cigarettes? I like to wear new shoes. So are you going to buy my shoes? So I went out and got my own job. And then, they added incentive for the job I had, and I got paid every week. But then also, I needed a driver's license. Because eventually I'm going to go back to Duluth, and I'm not going to be standing out at 6:30 in the morning in a Duluth winter when it's 30 below and the wind's blowing. I can't do that. So there's discipline. I saved my money, and I got some help from them guys, and my homeland is Leech Lake, but I took the resources, I took the help, and I just stacked it, and
resourcing.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
There's
Resourcing,
so
that's
many
huge.
available out there.
Yeah. Like if you never ask, you'll never know.
Absolutely,
You'll
man.
never,
Absolutely.
you'll never know if you don't ask. You got to reach out and ask.
Because when you're in them offices, getting, maybe like this resource, they're like, well, this is also available. Did you know that? I was like, no, absolutely, I did not, man. Can I sign up for that one as well? It's like, yep. Well, then once you get this one, well, then there's like these ones. And then, man, we're going to send you over to Patty for this or whatever.
Yeah.
That's like, all of a sudden, man, you didn't have to do nothing but walk to 3 offices and you got everything taken care of that you needed to take care of that day. So resources and
accomplishment.
Yeah,
that's what that is. That's
absolutely
upping the value on yourself.
Absolutely.
Like, wow, I did that. So yeah,
do
that's
some more
huge,
stuff tomorrow.
Yep, that's huge.
Absolutely.
Even filling out an application.
Yeah.
That's that's accomplishment. That's adding value, worth, everything into yourself. Because wow, I'm doing this. I'm really out here doing this. And I think that's where that was a big one for me. Like, I don't know if I could find 3 references, but in the community that we're from, it's like, man, we'll give you references.
Absolutely. 10 of them.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yep. We'll help you with that. It's like, just come to hang out with us once in a while, and you know, tell us something about yourself, you know. I mean, that's how you get to know people, you know, like in being able to feel vulnerable around people
Yeah,
and just tell
yeah.
about everything, you know, like, and not have to hide yourself.
And yeah, one of the, speaking of that, like one of the people I met, he did the UAs in Four Winds, you know, and that's where I went. It's like when I healed up, I wanted to be around my people or whatever, because we understand each other. And there was this guy that would come in every day, whatever, you know, when I was there being admitted, you know, he had to do the COVID test before they would allow you up there or whatever. So they said, bring a book. So I'm down there, you know, still got that criminal thinking going on. Oh, I'm turning in this phone, you know, and I'm stashing the one I'm going to sneak in, you know, he's just still in that element. So anyways, this guy comes down, man, and he was like, hey, Cat, and he knew my name, and we started talking like we were old buddies, and I was thinking, man, was he here the last time I was here? I was like, I can't remember this guy. So, you know, the COVID test comes back negative. I get to go up, and we start chatting. He comes in, a real pleasant guy. He's like, Cat, I'm going to need you today. And I was there for 69 days. And every day he would come in, you know, not necessarily for me, but for the brothers that were there. We would chat it up, man. And he's like, you know, he's a Christian or something like that, whatever. But we would have some good chats. And he's like, man, I really like what you're doing around here. And I was like, I'm not doing anything, man. He said, no, but you're leading by example, brother. These brothers and some of the women are, you know, they talk about you, Ken, man, and it hasn't been done like that around here for a long time. And so we would go about it, and I think our last couple conversations were about real estate. I kind of know a little bit about it, a lot of things. And so I'm talking to my counselor, and she was like, man, I see you and him are getting along really good. And she's like, you know what he used to do, right? And I'm thinking, well, we've been talking about real estate. So I'm like, yeah. And she's like, oh, okay. And so anyways, the next day I graduate, and, you know, everybody's going downstairs or whatever, man. And they're like, hey, man, you coming down? And he's like, well, who's graduating? He's never been down to one of these before. And they're like, Kenny. And he's like, oh, hell yeah, I'm coming down. He said, I'm going to come down and say some good things about Kenny. So we go down, and I find out that morning, you know, just before that, man, he's a retired police officer. And I was like, right on, that's cool. And back in my day, I would have never had anything good to say about this guy, about him or anything like that, you know. And, you know, and they give you the coin, and you pass it around, and everybody says some good things about you, and everybody's crying and stuff, whatever, man. And I said something good about every individual that was in my center that was there, because they all did something for me. And it came time to him, man, and I said, hey, man, I appreciate you more than you know. I said, because back in the old life, man, I would have been trying to avoid you, and you would have been trying to catch me. I would have been running, and I would have never had anything good to say about you, to you, for you. And I said, but I got mad love and respect for you, man, and we share the same, this common ground as being men that are trying to help each other, our fellow men, and all this and that. And I said, I got enough. And he's still in my corner. I text him every other week, or he texts me. We pop in, hey, how you doing? Life's still good. So that's one of the many reasons I still do what I do. You know, I'm doing what I do is because people like that, you know, will back you up, you know, and that says a lot to have somebody like that in my corner for who I used to be, you know, that will come to bat, you know, I'll come right up there, Ken, if you need a reference or you need somebody to come and stand in for you, whatever, I'm your guy, you know, and that kind of carries a lot of weight, you know, and to have somebody like that in my corner, you know, not just him, but someone that you meet in your journey that has nothing but, you know, regardless of what they used to do or what, you know, whatever it is, they just have genuine love for you, and that's a good feeling. So
That's awesome.
absolutely,
I like it.
yeah,
I like it.
yeah,
Because I always, you know, like was really, I didn't like authority figures at all. You know?
Mm-mm.
I think that goes back to your story of, you know, no
Yeah.
judgment.
Yeah,
Absolutely, yeah.
like if you can catch me, you can catch me, but I guarantee you can't.
absolutely, absolutely, yeah.
If I would have known that first day, I get it though.
It's like back in the day, it's like you look out the window and there's only one cop car out there, man. Well, I know he's not here for me. What did you guys do? I know he ain't here for me. When you look out and the whole block is surrounded, they're like, oh man, how am I gonna get out of here?
Yeah, I better help out this
Houdini.
window.
Well, help me out, Houdini. Come on, brother. You did it last time.
Well, guys, thank you so much for coming in and letting us ask you some questions. And it's awesome to hear your guys' stories. It's definitely inspirational to anyone listening.
Yeah, and that's
We appreciate you
absolutely,
guys,
man.
you know,
There's
like-
plenty. There's plenty more where that came from, man.
Yep. And what you guys do, you know, and what you guys are, you know, doing for the community and stuff like that, you know, like I see you guys.
Absolutely.
You know,
Thank you.
I
Thanks.
really do, and you know, like, and this is gonna blow up. I already know it. You know, we're gonna blow this up.
Absolutely, man. Like B12.
I mean, yep, be nice to see this all across Indian country, you know.
Yeah.
I mean, and getting people in here from, you know, like the other side, you know, other side of the country, you know. I mean, just to come share and, you know, like what they deal with out there, you know. And I could see that going that far.
Absolutely, because we all got friends. You know, we all got friends, and our friends got friends.
Yeah.
And we all know somebody, and they know somebody, and they know somebody. You know, and that's how this works. You know, we get it out there, and you know, and people just run with it. You know, and that's what's good about this.
But I thought about the name. It should be Dancing in Middle of the Res Road.
Dancing.
and singing.
Yeah, there you go.
But we appreciate you guys.
Absolutely,
We really
man.
do.
Yeah.
Yeah, I appreciate it, man. If y'all want to come back
Yeah,
in, just
thank
let me
you.
know.
Yeah, congratulations again on you, both of your sobriety
thank you.
and keep it up.
We'll see you guys next week.
Oh,
absolutely.
Miigwech.
Yeah, we good.